It's this idea that some people criticize or have left the group because of they want to be so-called pure in quotes. I don't know what they mean by purity, and this is when they see like what we are doing. For instance, you have Kelsey, you have Gabriel, and you have Henry, yeah, with the CBD oil, and then you have the deuterium depleted water. These are all very good health items, nutraceuticals for our health. But some people would think that, some people will ask the question, how does this tie up with the idea of true or real freedom in this lifetime? You see? And it all boils down to this, to the idea of doing something that is beneficial for the whole of life. And they look at this just in terms of the personal life, enhancing the personal life, or this person is trying to market to us or to do this and that. They don't look at it in terms of that person stretching his or her horizons and gaining in awareness and helping others at the same time. This is being done. So this whole religious idea of money being the root of all evil is influencing, is clouding some people's vision, not to see clearly that these individuals have stepped up, they are doing something beneficial for the whole of life. Can you imagine how many people the world over were ignorant of these products and who don't do any research at all? In fact, before when I got the news about this CBD oil, in fact, I'd been trying to buy it even 2 years ago. There was no way, nothing would come into China until Kelsey and Henry, they stepped up with this. So now I have a way of ordering it, and they will facilitate it, you see. But others are only looking at the personal life, or these people are maybe trying to market to us. We don't want that. We are here to seek for real freedom. See? So I just want to bring this up to show you how, to tell us how any activity that we get involved in is a benefit for the whole of life. Just imagine how many people are ignorant and who now have the opportunity to know about these things through them members of the wonderful worldwide educators, bringing up these things and sharing with people indiscriminately. So you see these old ideas of the past influencing people, beclouding their vision, and they can't really appreciate that this is all linked to the idea of sharing, of being shining like the sun, and catering to the whole of life. So it's just a comment I wanted to make, Duane.
Yeah, let me say this, Charles. Yes, and it's very real, and it's always going to come up. So it's a given. Again, like the governments, what they're doing, like the religions, like the Kalam God, like all of creation, and there's always going to be that. And this is what I've dealt with ever since I've presented this into the public. And at one point, I realized, well, it didn't take long. Is that fine? Okay, I'll do it myself. And so I really figured that, with what I'm presenting, and it was a lot of years, I asked the boys, well, what am I doing this for? Nobody seems to listen. But then I just figured, well, you know what? I'll just do it myself. I didn't even think that anybody would even consider that people would come up and stick around. And most of the time they don't. Again, we'll see how long it lasts. People have been here a while, a couple months, couple of years, whatever. That's nothing. Let's see how long it lasts. Some of the best people have come and gone. And I told this to Ava in the beginning, to stand real. And it's not about me, again, taking a look at where the boys are focused. So, yes, this is a given. Anything you're going to do, it's already a given. It's just like when we're going into the college here. It's starting little by little to trickle through the resistance. It's a given. So what do? Stop. And we were going through this at OCC too, Orange Coast College. And so what do? Stop? No, we didn't stop. Went all the way. And good for Val. He faced it. He faced the deans. He went out there. He learned a lot. Again, I said this is for your future, you might say, as the dean of Nations United Universal University. It's very real. We don't, just because we don't have buildings and whatever. No, we have a very real position on the real side and into the real universes. That's the real part of it. So here, you're always going to get resistance. You're always going to get ideas. And don't forget, Paul created Sun Tzu, and he did that as an opportunity for people to do something besides just their 9-to-5 boring job. Yes, and so again, creating all these opportunities, because yes, you still have to function and live in the world. And right now we're still collecting money to pay the rent and do other things. That's very real. This criticism in any way about money is really kind of silly, simply because, but people will give everything they've got and their inheritance and other people's inheritance to Joni and the corporation. They'll give them millions and whatever. That's different, though, isn't it? It's the holy stuff. But to provide something that really makes sense, they're not interested. They question it, which is fine. That's fine. But I suggested these things to Kelsey and what have you a while back. To start to do this, to bring others, etc. And yeah, at the same time, you're promoting something that's beneficial, but at the same time, it's better than working a 9-to-5 job. It really is. You want to go manufacture bolts for rocket ships for the cabal? Yeah, go ahead. You could be an engineer and you could make good money. But again, what is that doing for the world, etc.? Does it really make sense? How long can you go on with your routines until what? You watch the world burn? Totally. It's a choice each person makes. It really is. And so there are many ways to do the same thing. And so all of a sudden, when people do this, it's like, oh, gee, it's all about the money. Well, hey, these people are working jobs. They're working mainly for the cabal. And most of the jobs out there, the business world, is really focused consciously and unconsciously on what the cabal is doing and for their agenda and for their military regime. And again, I'm not saying this is bad. We're not rebelling or, discontent with this in any way. They have free will. They have the right to do it, but we have the right to do whatever too. So, but that's up to each individual, Charles, just like you. You decide. If no one else agrees, are you going to stop doing it? Well, see, if no one agreed with what I'm writing, as an example, I would still keep writing. I'm not looking for agreement. It's not about agreement. It's about the is. It's about standing real with the is. And so what I write is simply a reference, not the reality, but it's something I like to do here. And there are people that do show up. Sometimes they come and go. It's a revolving door, which is fine because it's their free will. They create the revolving door. I don't. It's an isness like the sun shining. Sun is shining. It doesn't move from its position. It's universal with what it does. Really a great example. And so people run across the world. They go from here to there thinking that, oh, I'm, accomplishing something. Are you? Well, you can think that for as long as you want, but the end result is someday you'll just be exhausted, old, and you'll forget you were ever here. That's a given because you've done it many times. Here's the opportunity. So again, push comes to shove, I just do it myself, Charles. That's all. And what everybody else does, fine. I'll just do it myself. I always feel that, well, I'll just do it myself. Yeah. Yeah, so you can do that, and each person can do that. And if they don't show up or take part, fine. You can still do it. You can still step up and prove to life that you have courage to do it. Yeah, you have to prove yourself because life sees. And only you can prove that to yourself and decide, yes, you are the decider. Yes, and the best part is when you have proven yourself realistically to where you can't even fathom it, but life recognizes you. That's the best part, and you recognize that. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Duane. I have another comment to make, or another question. There's a saying in my culture that to get to a person's heart, the shortest way is through the stomach. So the stomach caters for the personal life. So I want to think that the message of awakening to the true reality life would catch people's attention if the wonderful worldwide educators can engage in things that take care of people's personal life first. As a teacher, I use incentives to catch my students' attention and to get them study, which is for their own benefit, not mine. So what do you think about passing through the stomach to catch people's attention with the wonderful worldwide educators' worldwide wake-up call, Duane?
Are we going to need professional doctors to do this? Is it some kind of operation, Charles?
No.
Sounds kind of gory and messy, but you can try it. How about this? You do it, and then you let us know. Okay, so we want to see how you do. But this is actually what we're doing in our own way. Again, as we take on the water, the John Ellis water, and these things, and the juice and what have you, we're sharing this. And we see the benefits of others, and we've gone through. We're going through our, like the Wright brothers, trying to get that plane to fly, with the leaky bottles and things like that sent around. So we're better defining that. Of course, we cannot control the shippers where they toss these things here and there. Again, that becomes interesting. So we're learning along those lines too. So it's all trial and error and eventually getting it. But that's the whole idea of what we're doing. We're, just that, and with what Kelsey's doing. Kelsey's a great example here because she's into all this, and Henry and Eric, they're really very focused on it. I'm not as much. I'm focused on what I'm doing and putting things together while they're focused on that, which is great. And so that's really what we're doing too. All these different ideas, and she's done many videos, and there will be a whole lot more that we're sharing. So yes, we implement that, but we don't want to go too far there. We want to do that, but the bigger picture, because again, as we're sharing this realistically, people still basically 100% have their personal life, and they're doing what they're doing. They're going to the movies, going to restaurants, having barbecues, watching the football game. They're already doing all this. And so, not to, again, keeping things real, the biggest thing is for people to see what's going on in this world, and they decide if they want to keep agreeing. Again, most people will say, well, gee, I'm aware. everything seems fine to me, and if there's something wrong, the government or whatever will take care of it, or whatever their ideas, or God will take care of it. Okay. And to those people that have made their statements, I say, okay. So as we keep going, we will become more of a demonstration, but we're doing this, but not real top heavy. You see, there becomes a difference. Not like Joni. See, she would, with her takeover from Paul's time, with Darwin and Harold. It's all become super top heavy, and that is that it's not about what she promotes. It's about money, the power, getting people to join, collecting people, etc. Just like the religions, it's about numbers. It's about the bottom line. That's what comes first. They're top heavy. And the idea is that, fine, have fun with the business world, the cabal business world that has made the money to deceive and control people. And so we play with that too, but we're not top heavy with that. That becomes the difference. It's something that we do kind of like on the sidelines that helps support us in particular ways, etc. And that's fine. That's needed. And people send in money or buy T-shirts or buy the water or the books or whatever. Fine. But that's not. We're not doing the gimmicks like Joni does, etc. Takes everything, markets it just for the money, then stashes it away. For what? But again, at the same time, she's under the gun with the reptilians because she has to perform like anybody does. Any of these agencies around the world, they have to perform or they're scrutinized or they're gotten rid of, because they can be replaced. So that becomes the difference. We're doing that, but it's not top heavy. But you decide in your personal life, and then you decide also within your intent and being, you decide what is first. That's very important. You make the choice. You want to consciously make that choice because it's very real. Because as you consciously do things, that implies what the reality life is, because it can only recognize what makes sense. But if the individual wants to say senseless, just like the sun shining, it doesn't touch you. You see, it can't. So you decide your relationship with the whole of life. Yeah, it's very awesome. And again, it's with your intent, your sincerity, and everything. You've got to figure this out. But yes, we're already doing that, Charles. And so again, this is where also the projects come in and becoming involved. And yes, I'm sure that these individuals are going to go create dinners and whatever and have dinners with other people and talk about things. And, you can set up little events like that, whatever it is, to, you might say, attract others to, see if they will pay attention, you might say, give them the chance. Because the world's not getting better, and all of a sudden one day, poof, all of a sudden we're facing it, and it's not good because it's only getting worse. So you only got so much time. You decide. Yes, sir.
Yes, Duane, as you say, we're already doing it in other cultures, in the mundane way of doing it is through physical food and drinks and all the like, to get people's loyalty, to support an individual or a cause. That's what political parties do. Individuals who are seeking for influence, that's what they do. They corrupt people through food and drinks and all the like, to get to their hearts. But what we are doing here is very refined. As you've said, we are doing that already. Bringing people the opportunity, the knowledge, to improve on their personal lives, in a meaningful manner. And this what is being presented is tied with, is linked to the message of freedom in this lifetime, and people can easily make a connection. People will ask, but what is it that motivates this person? What is behind your what is behind this agitation? What makes you to function the way you're functioning? And so that curiosity will bring them, make them to discover the message of the new presentation. So we're doing it, as you said, in a much refined manner. It's not something that we want to spend physical money to do it. But it's very effective.
No, you're wonderful, Charles. So get your rest, because the Saturdays come around very fast. The weeks fly by, and we're at the end of September here, and a couple more months, it's the next year. So again, time flies, and look at all the time we've been together, and Miriam, how wonderful she is, and etc. If she can come back on the Skypes again, that would be wonderful. Let her know. But again, I suggest you just really get this together and let people know and write some things for the Africans and get their attention. It's a new day. Get their attention and take a look at what's going on there. And there's a lot going on in Africa, and there's always something to get involved in. So somebody somewhere has a computer, but they've got their cell phone. So Miriam's a pivot point, so are you, to bring this about. They're looking for the leadership, and that's you. That's you and Miriam. And what you're, just not talking about things, but really starting to activate something and see, take on the adventure of getting involved.